Hello, welcome back. Art of Cycling. This is the end of my post videos, whatever you want to call them, about the Tour de France Femmes, and well, the Tour de France for that matter, because I've already done this for that one. But this is a flip through of all the paintings that are still available. Of course, you can find them for purchase. You can scan this little QR code right there, go to my website, look for the 2026 Tour de France and Tour de France Femme Gallery, and they're all available there where you can purchase them securely. Some of the paintings that are sold, of course, you won't see, but they're available as prints as well. So start off with, and this is called Minor Adjustments. This is the French former champion, Cedric Kerbold, riding for EF, and I discovered after painting this move, I wonder why I didn't see it in the men's race, but mechanics leaning out of the car working on bikes is no longer allowed, which is safe and wise, but I wondered why I didn't see it during the tour. And this is called Down into the Valley, as the breakaway of four get down off the front of the group and in. It started out with some light climbs. This was considered a flat stage. With those four up the road, the Charlotte Cool of Phoenix did get the maximum points left available in the intermediate sprint, but nobody really competed for it. Also, this is Amanda Spratt of the Lidl Trek, and she's chasing those escapees and being followed by the Shimano Neutral Service. These guys are available, particularly when riders are out in the middle and their team cars can't get to them. They're there with wheels, bikes, etc. to help the riders out. And of course, this is She Will Be Queen. Noskova, yes, of Cofidis, earned the most King of the Mountain points on the opening stage. So she was the first to pull on the polka dot jersey of Queen of the Mountains. They are riding in Switzerland, so there were a lot of Swiss flags out along the road. And this is the first in yellow. By winning the first stage, Lorena Wiebes claimed the first yellow jersey, but also she got the maximum points and claimed the first green jersey. And in fact, the only green jersey of the Tour de France Femme. She held it from beginning to end. I do love the way they did this jersey, where the black of the shorts went up into the jersey, and just a different line from what is normal. Next day, stage 2, building their advantage, another breakaway. I really wanted to, this is Labrale Katuska, and she is the Lithuanian champion, joined by a number of other riders off the front. Climbing through the vineyard. So this course took them up a very short, steep climb. It was, they like to call it a wall, but boy, it looked like a wall. Through the vineyards. Two of the Saint Michel riders, one of whom I specifically wanted to paint because she went through the Homestretch Foundation, organized by Catherine Bertine, who also is one of the women who got the Tour de France Femme restarted. Almost a minute. This is Rihanna Marcus, who went out off on her own ahead of the peloton. She was shown her time advantage by the Credit Lyonnais sponsored timekeepers. Always love to work them into a painting. Of course, Wiebes in the yellow jersey, following her teammates as this one is called Calm and Controlled, with Rihanna Marcus up the road, just a solo rider. They weren't too worried about her stealing the yellow jersey back. Still on her own. So with 6 kilometers to go, she was still off the front with 33 seconds. She was, unfortunately for her, caught by the peloton. And this time in yellow, Lorena Wiebes won the stage again, so 2 in a row. But this time she did it in the yellow jersey. Excuse me. Are you good? So Lotto Intermarché had a lot of riders getting sick. And by this point, they already had 3 riders out of the tour, and we're only in stage 3. So another one of the home stretch riders is checking on her teammate. So Ramona Horosa, checking on Linda Redmond, making sure she's still okay, alone with her thoughts. So the next stage, another rider tried to go on her own, off the front. This is the Norwegian champion, whose name has slipped me. So you can see I'm flipping these. This is Sigrid Hogsud of X. I write all the information on the back of these. That helps when I write the blog, theartofcycling.blogspot.com, and also for people who purchase the paintings. Hint, hint. Stuck in the middle, so with Hogsud off the front, Lotta Kopecky went off in search of her. She rides her SD Works. And Time to Chase, so with Hogsud still off the front, the peloton finally realized we're going to have to chase this woman down. You're watching each other. So many of the team leaders, Paula Prevost, who's the defending champion in 1, Kim LaCourte. So any of the jerseys that are bib numbers that end in 1. This is one of my favorite riders, Buck Peterson. And leading her own cheers. So they, unlike Marcus, they never caught Hogseth. So she, as she came to the line, she was so far ahead. In fact, she won by almost a minute and a half. She had time to encourage the fans to cheer for her as she came to the line. And of course, by winning, she takes the second yellow jersey of the tour. Catching her teammates. So now we're on to the individual time trial. Riders start off initially at a 1-minute intervals. So Alice Towers was caught by the Luxembourg champion Nina Berton of EF Education. I really enjoyed this image. So a day out. So of course, at this point, there's 140, 150 riders in the race. They start out 1-minute intervals until the last 20, or 2-minute intervals. So it's a long day out watching the racers go by. And so this is the family. And as near as I could tell, the young boy was actually doing quick little sketches as he sat with his dad watching the race go by, and a rather disinterested sibling sitting to the side. And that's Anna van der Breggen. Of course, in her yellow jersey, Hogseth was the last to go, but she was not lined up properly and was actually almost falling over as she started her race, so a bit shaky as she reached out to stabilize herself with the guy who was starting everyone out. This is sprinting for seconds. This is Russo, who is the world champion for women in the time trial discipline. She finished first on the day, and that was enough to stay in first and move her into the yellow jersey. Speeding into Dijon, so the race had a long climb and then a fast descent back down in through the city. And this is Demi Vollering flying back into the town of Dijon. Moved her in, she was the third, and I believe that moved her into third place. Unchallenged, so now we're back into a road stage, so stage 5. And Wiebes is now in green, and she is was unchallenged. Now behind her is one of her teammates, making sure nobody comes around her to steal points. The current Canadian world champion, and that's road, so that's why it's a different person than the time trial. Chasing the tail, this is one of the Liv Alul-Jayco riders, just holding on to the tail end of the peloton. Nadia Gontova. And the race, of course, pads all the places where they think riders could be in danger. There was that famous scene when Sepp Kuss hit the wall and they actually had a net to keep them from going over the cliff. He actually never hit the net, but ooh, scary. So every climb, so now we have still, Buck Pedersen is now in the polka dot jersey. When did she take that over? Anyway, so she, on this stage, was over every climb up to this point. So this was the 6th climb of the day, and she had gotten maximum points thus far on every single stage, thus solidifying the Queen of the Mountains title that she held through the rest of the race. Past the bidon, so as they start up into another climb, the Col de Derbies, this is Elisa Balsamo reaching back for a bottle. It was done so like a marathon or a race relay, track and field event, where she simply put her hand out and waited for her team car to bring the bottle up and put it in her hand. Just ahead is the Visma Lisa bike car, looking for help. So this is Mavis Squeben, who was off the front, knew people were coming, and she's looking back to get a little help. And leading up the Bruley, so this is the first big climb, a Category 1 climb, the Mont Bruley, and all of the team leaders. So Russo now in her yellow with Kopeke and, this is Niwi Adoma, and then Demi Vollering, as well as Isabel Holgram. And Vollering is the European champion. That's why she has this white kit with the blue stripes. And she was the one who went on to win the stage, the perfect ending to a great stage. While she won the stage, Russo still held onto her yellow jersey, being that close. So they went first and second. So time bonuses were the only difference in time. But Demi Vollering now, I believe, sits in second. Letting them go. This is Noskova again off the front, the Slovak champion, I believe. And she was in the breakaway, but these two were much stronger than her, and so she let them go. She was out earning Queen of the Mountain points, hoping to take back her jersey from the beginning of the tour. She did not succeed. And this is Under Escort. So first we thought that Kim Lacourt had gotten dropped on this climb, but actually she had had a bike change, and so her teammates, the Spanish champion Merla Benito and Justine Gekerich, were helping her get back to the peloton. This is down the other side where she has regained the peloton as they dive into the valley before the next climb of the day. Home roads. So this, the French champion, sorry, her name, Jerry, was from this area, and she was off the front flying down the mountainside. She actually I paint these as live, so even if I'm not painting the race live, I have no idea what's going to happen next when I pause and paint. And in this case, she just barely held on to this turn, ticking, just about going off the road on this steep corner. She was later caught by Buck Pedersen and Elisa Longo Borghini, yes, the Italian champion, 4 years running the Italian champion. She's actually one of the members of the peloton who own some of my paintings of themselves, given to her as a wedding gift by her godfather. And so this is called Coming Around Right. So not only had she been chased down the peloton, Kim LaCourte won her first stage, the first Mauritian or African to win a stage in the Tour de France Femmes, ahead of Buck Pedersen, the former French champion, Cedrin Cabol, and of course the current French champion. So now on to stage 7, making their own luck. A bit of a joke, like, and actually it's the French champion who has number 13, which he isn't wearing upside down, but so cyclists can be a superstitious lot. So I thought I'd play around with the fact that both of these riders, their bib number ends in 7. Marianne Vos, who I believe has won the race before, and certainly the most winningest, that's a word, racer in the women's peloton. And she's joined by Sophia van Beersworth of Volker Wessler. Tête de la course, so the head of the race, quite, literally. And so this is the group off the front on their way. Now this is the first view of Mont Ventoux that we see. This is the first time the women's tour has ever climbed an HC. No, not true. They have climbed HCs. First time they've gone up to the Beast of Provence, Mont Ventoux. And so this is called Mont Ventoux Awaits. I'm actually surprised I still have this one. And as we got to the base, the teammates of Roussard, still in yellow, had done what they could for the team, and they drop off as the climb starts up. Paying for yesterday, so again, Jerry, what's her first name? Celia, in the French champion, and she's wearing the green bib numbers of most aggressive, but that ride yesterday left her unable to stay with the peloton on the lower slopes of Mont Ventoux. And this is where I see her number 13 is right side up. They even now print the number 13 upside down on the bib numbers because most riders wear it upside down. Amerlet in the men's race wore his upside down. And the leaders are leading up Mont Ventoux, so the front of the race with just 10 kilometers to go, it's Demi Vollering, who sits in second place, Rousseau in the yellow jersey in first, and Kasi Niwiadoma, who sits in third, with just 10 kilometers of very hard climbing to go. This is a kid wearing one of the polka dot shirts that are given out by the sponsors of that competition. So I just loved him in his oversized shirt. And the top of the mountain is completely barren. So this is one of the two that I did from this view, the other sold. So this is the quartet that have almost caught the two chasers. So Vollering and Rousseau is at this point out of the yellow jersey, virtually. Lisa Longo Borghini. And this is Niedermeyer, who is in the white jersey of Best Young Rider in her main competition, is leading at Blasi, leading them up. They do catch some past the yellow jersey. Demi Vollering does pull off second place. But the winner, and now new yellow jersey, her first was huge. It's the first time. So Kasi Niwiadoma has won the Tour de France Femmes of X-Swift. That's that logo. But she's never won a stage. So to win this, pardon the pun, monumental stage was huge. And to do it and take the yellow jersey, even bigger. So stage 8 is the transition stage with some sharp, steep climbs at the end of the stage. So they're racing down to Nice. And this figure, really quite an amazing feathered costume, cheering them on as they go over one of the climbs of the day. And this is Squeban again with Les Adigas, who has been in breakaways constantly. And this is the Arrière de Peloton, or the rear of the peloton. Carbol, actually it's not Carbol, it's 87. So that's Alice Towers chatting with Rian Marcus. They kind of went, well, we just have to hang with the peloton. And that climb that was just there, now they're down this long, beautiful valley road. Really wish I had painted more of the scenery. But they raced down, and so it was a long, long downhill. So they were sort of chilling at the back and chatting. Also goofing around is Allison Jackson, the Canadian on the Saint Michel team. She had just been toasting the cameras with cans of Coke, and then she mimed jumping in behind and drafting off the police motorcycles, the gendarme. I actually mentioned this in a post, and she wrote back and said, hey, I dropped them, which shortly thereafter she went around and rejoined the peloton. It is fun how much interaction I've had with the women's peloton. And then poor Squeban, this is called Misfortune. So she was off the front with the Lidl truck rider Ediges, and she crashed, and of course was barely able to continue, held her arm up. But she did finish the stage, which, left alone, is what happened to Ediges, still off the front, but now with trying to hold off the peloton by herself. An unlikely proposition. Then, as I said, we got to some final little climbs at the end of the stage. These three, including the polka dot jersey of Puck Peterson, were dropped by the leaders of the race. And Demi Vollering took the stage. Is that right? I think this one's out of order. It is. Or is it? Wait a minute. Sorry, I've confused myself. Yes, so she took the stage. Wasn't enough to take over the yellow jersey from, or yes, it was. No, it wasn't. From Kasia Niwiadoma, who is here in yellow, also wearing the green numbers of the most aggressive rider, but on these climbs. And then, so now we are in the final stage, aren't we? No, we're in the second to last stage. So this is out of order. Sorry. Yeah. There. So battling for yellow, they were trading attacks, but then finally Demi Vollering dropped her and went on to win the stage. And by so doing, took over the yellow jersey. Now we're caught up. Sorry about that. And there was controversy in that stage just before Kasia Niwiadoma accused Jarry, the French champion, of blocking her when her teammate Demi Vollering went on attack. So there was quite a bunch of online and through media accusations. So at the start of the next stage, and they started right out climbing on the final stage, they went up the same climb 4 times, once on a much, all col d'Ez, but the final one was an even harder ascent. But at the start, the two, Kasia Niwiadoma and Demi Vollering, could see having an animate conversation just behind the former yellow jersey Roussard and a former stage winner, Kim Lacourt. Don't know if they got it resolved. They probably just pissed each other off. How much? So these two went off the front on the second lap before they started up the second climb. And this is Ostis and the leader of Kofidis, Mole. Then working for her teammate, Backstead, the British champion, put a blistering pace up the next ascent of the Col d'Ez with a beautiful view of the Mediterranean over their shoulders, with Niedermeyer in the white jersey, followed by her team leader, Kasi Niwiadoma, who was followed in turn by the yellow jersey of Demi Vollering. I mean, all Demi Vollering had to do was worry about where Kasi Niwiadoma was. Going down the Col d'Ez, I believe this is Marcus. No, this is Holgram. So she sat in third in the young women's best young riders competition. And so she was off attempting to move up, didn't succeed. And as I say, the final ascension was up a different route with this incredible snaking climb. And this is all that's left of the front group. The race was spread everywhere. Russo had crashed and was being shepherded around the final laps by her teammates. That painting sold and went to Switzerland. So trading jabs, so yet again on the climbs, but this time with jerseys switched. It is Kasia Niwiadoma and Demi Vollering, each attacking each other, but it was finally Vollering who was able to drop her. Going alone over the top of the Col d'Ez, with the mountain, with the view of the sea off to her side. This is roughly the same spot as that previous one. And then she won the stage, 2 stages and 2 tours. So of course with Kasia Niwiadoma, who has won before, and Demi Vollering, who had won a race before, no matter what happened, well, if they both crashed, somebody else would have won. But it was going to be the first woman to win more than one Tour de France Femmes, and that honor went to Demi Vollering, which she also was able to do while wearing the yellow jersey, winning the last 2 stages in a row. So that's all the work that's still available. Thank you all for watching. Of course, you can find it all at my website, gregleach.com. You can read more about all of these paintings at my cycling blog, theartofcycling.blogspot.com. And I really appreciate you watching. I hope you've enjoyed this race as much as I have. And I hope you enjoyed the paintings as much as I enjoyed painting them. Of course, please subscribe. I'd love to know what you think of this collection of artwork. And it's not too late to buy some work. Thank you all so much.